Hello, everyone, and welcome. My name is Shannon. I am here at artsPlace as the Programs Associate in Canmore. My pronouns are she and her. We are here today with Diana Ohiozebau. Oh, did I say that right, Diana?
Yeah, that's right.
Great. So Diana is joining us from Edmonton today for her artist talk. We just put up her exhibition in the gallery space with the RISE program. So thank you everyone for joining us today. I do want to start with a quick land acknowledgement. So I'll just go ahead and read it here. artsPlace is located on the land of the Treaty 7 people. In the spirit of respect, reciprocity, and truth, we honor and acknowledge the Canmore area, known as Chun Chem Chen Kudabi, and the traditional Treaty 7 territory and oral practices of the Inyahe Nakota, the Stoney Nakota, comprised of the Bearspaw, Chiniki, and Wesley First Nations, as well as the Tsuut'ina First Nation and the Blackfoot Confederacy, comprised of the Siksika, Pikainai, Kainai, and the Métis Nation Region 3. So Diana is participating in this exhibition as a part of the RISE program. And for those of you who are not familiar, the RISE program is based out of Canmore in artsPlace. It supports Alberta-based emerging artists through an exhibition opportunity and a mentorship program. Participating artists build experience in exhibition design, installation, marketing and business skills, and professional practice. This program fosters community awareness of contemporary arts and helps prepare emerging artists for a career in the arts. So one more plug before we get going here. I do want to just thank the RBC Foundation and the Edmonton Arts Council for your support for Diana as an independent artist and for artsPlace with this exhibition and this program. So Diana, thank you, welcome.
Thank you.
Diana is an Edmonton-based mixed media artist. So she received her Bachelor of Fine Arts degree from Ambrose Ali University in Nigeria with first class honors and a valedictorian for her class of 2012. Congratulations. In 2018, she earned a Master of Fine Arts from the University of Calgary and is currently completing a Bachelor's of Education degree at the University of Alberta. So we are so pleased to have you join us here virtually today. And I am looking forward to learning about yourself in this show. And we're going to dive right in here with some questions. So why don't you start off just by telling us a little bit about yourself and your background?
Okay, thank you so much, Shannon, for the introduction. So like she said, my name is Diana Ohiozebau, and I'm an Edmonton-based artist. I mostly work with painting, mixed media, and recently I've kind of like shifted into including textile elements and having a sort of sculptural feel in a way that creates that 2- and 3-dimensionality. And I have been in Edmonton since after my master's degree. I moved to Edmonton from Calgary in 2018. So it's been wonderful and just embracing my practice and growing in my studio practice. So yeah.
Awesome, beautiful, thank you. We would love to hear a little bit about your artistic process. Your work is just so compelling. So if you could tell us, how do you make your work?
Okay, so that's an interesting question, and it's a big question because I would like to also talk a bit about whatever we're seeing now is a product of a journey. And that journey began like through my undergrad program, where I have been in painting, interested in painting. And towards my undergraduate program, I started including materials like fabrics and cultural elements, but in subtle ways. And so I came during my master's program, and that was where my work had this shift from just painting on canvas to meaning. What's the meaning of everything you do? Everything has a meaning, has an intention. So I started researching on materials that could speak about my narrative. So essentially my narrative during my research was looking at how climate change affects Nigerian women in rural communities. So I started looking for materials. And that was how my journey on materials started. So, and then I moved, and it has shaped my thought process and the way I make work, actually. So from having detailed sketches and ideas from my sketchpad to the canvas, I started making work based on, I shifted to intuition in a way that I have an idea, but when I get on the surface, it becomes a journey. It becomes a process where I allow the work itself to lead me. But I have an idea, I have a direction. It's leading me, but within a concept. So in the end of that process, I have a great work that I am satisfied with. And it's most of the time, it's more beautiful than the idea that I started with. So that's been my process in the past 2-3 years. And it's been an interesting process because I don't allow restrictions. So I like the flow, but I have an idea and I have the concept. At the end of the day, they converge and have meaning. That's been my process.
That's beautiful. Oh, I love that. And I can't speak to what's in your head, but I can tell you the final result is just beautiful. So
Exactly.
I'm a fan of that intuitive flow. That's incredible. Thanks for sharing.
Yeah.
Talk a little bit about the materials and the media that you use.
Okay. Yeah. So interesting. So going back to my MFA research was when I started looking at materials away from canvas and how the material could speak to the concept and the narrative, like where the form and the context become one. So I started looking at fabrics that speak to the concept of the hardworking Nigerian women in a certain rural communities. So the fabric I use essentially is the Nigerian fabric called ashoke fabric. So originally these fabrics are hand woven and it is produced by communities. So they plant the cotton and then the men harvest the cotton and then the women spin and then they make these fabrics on the loom. They're quite time intensive, but they make very beautiful colors. And so this is the kind of material I actually shipped these ones from Nigeria, and because of exactly what I wanted, which I couldn't get here. So I thought about the idea of community coming together to create these fabrics, to create these materials for economic purpose, and how that the material itself speaks to community engagement, and how that I can use that as a medium in my work to speak about community of people and going through a process of change, resilience, and generational progress. So those are the elements that I find interesting with these ashoke fabrics. And yeah, and over time, I have included textile qualities like the yarn, and then gradually making a shift to make it more like 3-dimensional. But my main concept is how the idea of producing these fabrics within this community space, encouraging communal living and togetherness.
Amazing. Oh, that's
and of course I use acrylics. So
yeah. Right. Is that so? It's acrylic paint just on top.
Yeah, it's acrylic paint. Yeah, because it dries very quickly, and because I used to use oil before.
Okay.
And over time, I shifted to acrylic, and it's really fast. It allows you to make a lot of work within a short time. So yeah.
Yeah, definitely. And the colors translate really nice onto this fabric. They're so bright and just really.
Yes, I like the fabrics are usually white because I would like to decide what colors to put on them. And some of my works are just black and white with hints of colors, and some of them are very colorful, but it depends on the title, it depends on the concept.
Yeah, nice. Right on. So it was lovely to hear you speak a little bit about, community and this idea of resilience and supporting each other. I wonder if that might be a nice segue into speaking about what inspires you or where you go for inspiration and how you go looking for it.
Yeah. So For inspiration, there are two ways. So in terms of visual properties and in terms of concept. So for through the years and still currently, I've been highly influenced by the works of Sheila Hicks, and she has this very large textile installations, and she wraps a lot of textile together, and they're usually larger than life installations, sometimes within the gallery space and sometimes outdoor spaces, but they're very colorful. They look like textiles, but they look like ropes that were wrapped up with different colors. I don't know if you're familiar with how it works. Okay, yeah. And I'm also inspired by, in terms of formal quality, it is the way that El Anatsue exhibit his pieces. They're very large installation that they stride between, they're like fabrics, sculpture, and painting.
Wow.
But they are actually made from metal bottle caps.
Oh.
So if you look at the works of Ellen Natsue, they're very interesting because they are in between these three spaces of painting, sculpture, and textile. And for each of his exhibition installation, the work takes a new form, and it takes a new form within the space. So I like the fact that the work can change and shift and speak to different people, can find their meaning and find the story within it. So those are my influences. And in terms of elements of like a visual language, I'm very inspired by African mask. And that's like how I communicate. And the mask is a very rich terrain, because there's a lot about it I'm still exploring. But just the formal properties of African mask and their meaning and what they represent, and the collective effort they represent. So those are my inspiration, where I draw inspiration from in terms of visual and visual properties and formal properties. But when it comes to concept, my work can be about anything depending on how I am inspired. For example, I can have works talking about current happening, for example, the pandemic. I can have works talking about climate change. So it's diverse. It could be about women. It could be about African women. It could be about femininity. So it varies. However, what stays constant with my work is the idea of using the visual cultural element of mask as a language.
And I wonder, you spoke a little bit about those formal properties. Does any of those, can we maybe, I'm not sure what your knowledge or background is, but those sort of communal or subliminal meanings that are attached to those masks, does that language translate to your work as well? Or is it more of those formal elements that you're interested in?
Yeah, so in a way, because there are different kinds of masks and they have different meanings. But I try to find the path of the ceremonial mask where people wear this mask and there's this performing quality to it. At the same time, when you wear a mask, in that sense, you don't wear a mask and walk around alone. There's something happening. And then mask is associated with gathering, with celebration, with events, and there's a display, and there's a language, there's something being communicated. I remember like growing up, we went to like my grandparents' event in the countryside, and they had this masquerade. They came dressed in very colorful attire, and then they were all covered in masks, and everybody was there to watch and gather how they danced and flipped. So something about masks in that sense it creates a joyful experience, and people always want to come out to see the display and see the performance of it.
Yeah, that's great. I can feel the joy just beaming from you as you're speaking about it, and you're, really coming alive with that memory. That's great.
Yeah.
Okay, so This is a tricky question, and I'm sorry for throwing this at you, but if you had to choose one or two of your favorite pieces, which ones would they be? And tell us why.
Okay, it's hard to pick a favorite, but I could say that I can pick two, right? Yeah, two will be
two.
yeah. So two will be resilience too, on I think on your left side. Yeah, like the long one on the other side.
Oh, on this side here.
Yeah, that one and the other one. I don't think you can capture it right now, but on the other side.
Oh, okay, nice. Should we
Yeah.
just take a quick turn? Is it in here?
Oh no, not on this side.
Oh, on the left side.
Yeah.
Oh,
No,
here it is.
I think that no, there's another one on this side.
Oh, there is.
Oh.
Yeah. You know what? There's a parallel wall behind me.
So yeah.
Back there.
Yeah, it should be that one. Yeah, those two. Because
wonderful.
yeah, because at the time of creating both pieces I was thinking about the whole idea of community, and we suddenly had lockdown, and the importance of family, the importance of having people around. And then I started thinking about how pandemic affects everyone, irrespective of your background, your race, your color, your history, your gender. Pandemic kind of like reminded us that we all share in a unifying human experience. So those two pieces were kind of born out of those ideas of resilience, going through things together, and how do you get to the other side, and how do you go through difficulty. And difficulty could be your mind, difficulty could be structures, it could be existing elements, it could be people knowingly or unknowingly resisting your progress, all those kind of whatever form of resistance. And then you have resilience when you have gone through and come out on your this side. And then the other piece, all in this together, is how we all navigate the change, how we all navigate struggle, and that we all share in the same human experience, you know.
Yeah.
So,
oh, wow. That gave me goosebumps. Really, just speaking about almost the resilience of the human spirit. You know? Like, wow, that's great. Thank you. I feel so humbled to be in this space with these beautiful pieces.
Yeah, because it ties with the title, not alone as such. Because when we think that we're the only ones going through something, but hey, everybody is, and the pandemic is a reminder, for example, that hey, we're all in this together. So not just you, although we all experienced it differently, but we all had to wear masks at some point, and we all had to have restrictions and limited accesses. So
yeah, it's certainly it's still a fresh wound, I would say, for many folks. So it's great timing to speak about sort of that hope and optimism and those really strong, beautiful activity pieces that came out of it, right? Yeah.
Yes, indeed.
So maybe you could speak a little bit about the RISE program and why this Emerging Artist program is important to you.
Okay, so I actually, to be very honest, I learned about the RISE program 2019.
Okay.
Yeah, and why I got interested was what got me to notice it was a colleague of mine from the U of C. She was in the RISE program, and her exhibition was amazing, and her artist talk as well. So I thought this was a very good way of projecting an emerging artist. I think she was only in Canada at that time for at that time it could have been like maybe 3 years. And taking classes together, I can see how her works changed and shifted and increased and improved, to a very professional quality within a very short time, so that got me interested and I was impressed. And so I thought that could be a great program to apply to and see how that goes. And here I am talking about Rise Emerging program. So it was quite inspiring how that the program takes on people from different backgrounds and different kinds of practices, because she is not a painter. She's into textile or something else like that. So yeah, so I saw, and then I also looked at other people's practices, and I saw that, oh, this is a great idea. And although I know that a lot of galleries take people, but the RISE program is structured in a professional way that just kicks you off on that professionally branding yourself. And it even goes down to even your social media. How do you project yourself? So that created a strong impression, and I was already impressed by the professionalism of the program, of the gallery, and I'm not disappointed.
Amazing. Oh, that's great. I'm happy you can speak to your experience in such a
Yeah.
positive way. Yeah. We're very grateful to have you as an artist here in the program, and your work on display here as well. So with that in mind, what do you think artsPlace as a community-based arts organization can do or continue to do to really focus in on supporting emerging artists?
Well, to be honest, again, it's like, well, I should be always honest, that I think the RISE program it's doing a lot, and I see the way it embraces and picks different practices and different kinds of people from different backgrounds and different works. And I think that is something that should continue. It shouldn't be something they should drop and exchange for. So I think it's a great program to keep. However, I believe that the pandemic kind of slowed things down and created limitation, but I don't know how it could fit in, but I feel like if there could be more, I don't know, opportunity, like within a year, you could have more people. I know there are 3 or 2 sessions for this within a year.
3.
Yeah, so
yeah, you're
3.
right.
Oh, okay, 3. Yeah. So I just feel if there could be more, having more artists, I don't know, but I think it's a great program that will benefit a lot more people from different backgrounds, and it adds to your professional journey, and given a chance to show in the RISE, it's like it boosts your why is it your artist CV or your practice for more opportunities with other bodies.
Right. Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Nice. That's great. Thank you. Thanks for sharing. So what I'm hearing is keep doing what you're doing.
Yeah. Sure, for sure. Yeah, don't stop.
Wonderful. So that was it for sort of the formal questions that I had listed here. Was there anything that you wanted to touch on or mention sort of in closing that you feel like we didn't get a chance to discuss today?
I think we touched on everything I had in mind, and yeah.
Great. Yeah. Well, thank you so much for joining us and for speaking about your work and your experiences. So honestly, it's been such a pleasure speaking with you.
Thank you so much for having me.
So Diana's show is titled, as we mentioned, Not Alone as Such. So it can be found in the Hub Gallery at artsPlace throughout the month of March. So it's running from February 28th to April 3rd, 2022. If you can't make it down to the space, we will be posting up the 3D virtual gallery tour on the website at artsplacecanmore.com. It should go live sometime during the week of March 7th, we're hoping for. So stay tuned for that. Otherwise, we invite you down to come to the space and experience this incredible show for yourself. It's really quite something to see. So thank you again. My name's Shannon. I'm here at artsPlace, and thank you, Diana, for joining us. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out, and we look forward to seeing you here. Take care.
Thank you so much. Yeah. Bye. Bye.